Well, guys, it looks like Christmas has finally come here in the Football Manager sense. Every Football Manager player knows that the most exciting part of the game, it's not playing the cup matches, it's not getting the players signed on a big contract. No, it's youth intake time. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a look here and see what the youth intake looks like here for us this time around. They've arrived for our assessment. As usual, the game is trying to tell us to wait until they have a exhibition game against the under-19s. I don't really like to wait. I usually just go straight at it. Now, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know here about this youth intake, right? I don't know exactly what the potential ability is of each of these players, right? I don't know necessarily too much about how they will or will not develop, but there are a couple things that we will learn pretty quickly. Just so you know, Filippo Galli is a guy I signed as soon as I came on. He has a model citizen personality. Then he has fairly good ratings, although as we'll eventually find out, I'm not sure that those ratings make that much of a difference. So we'll go take a look at some of these guys. As usual, I care a lot about acceleration and pace. So this with Tim Edenharter is not really what I'm looking for, right? He's a little bit slower than what I would like to see. And he's also inconsistent and is injury prone. So we're probably not going to sign him. In fact, we'll create a note, as we usually do, saying that he is inconsistent and injury prone. That way we're not tempted to go and sign him. He may have the ability to play for us right now and might actually potentially be a player on the senior team, but he's not really what we're looking for. Now, the question is, like, should we give him a contract anyway and just like loan him out or sell him? Maybe, right? And we'll think about that a little bit later on after we go through, I think, some of these other players and see what we have. Here's Danny Schwem, who's a striker, and see, he's a bit faster, 14 and 13, which is more along the lines of what we're looking for. His personality is not good. He's fickle. That's not really that bad, though. So we'll go ahead and give him a contract. And I mean, that's basically the way that we go through this. We'll go one at a time. We're looking for players who don't have that inconsistent bug. So here's another one, Schoenberger. We'd like guys who have fairly good personalities, at least. That's not bad. He has a lot of potential. He doesn't really have that speed, though, as a center back. What we're probably going to do is we're going to go ahead and sign him anyway and just have him on the youth team with all the other players that we have on it and sort of see how he develops. You have to remember that even if some of these guys don't pan out, you can still sell them later on. Rafael Monzini. And see, here you have your inconsistency and injury proneness, and he's really slow. We're not going to sign him. Nick Schreiber, that's another one where, like, in theory, we could sign Monzini, but we're probably not going to. Let me go take a quick look here at Schreiber. Again, he's slow and is inconsistent. Another one we're probably not going to worry too much about. Vedat Khan, who's a keeper, doesn't have a great personality. I'm still not entirely sure what to look for. They tell me you want to look at decisions, reflexes, and agility, and he has all three of those. So we'll probably go ahead and sign him. I don't think he's ever going to hit the first team, but we need a keeper for the youth team for the next couple of years. Igit, and I don't know if I'm saying that right at all. I'm probably not. Has injury proneness. There's really not much of a reason for us to mess around with him. Take a quick look at Bear, who's very inconsistent and who's also not fast. And take a look at Dave Wren, whose name I'm saying wrong. He is also inconsistent and not fast. So you can see, I mean, this is basically the easy way to look at it. Jankowski is also inconsistent and also is not particularly fast, and that's not really what we're looking for. Tony Bonifoy has a little bit of inconsistency and also lacks in speed. I mean, with guys like this, when we're talking about like a left back who's that slow, there's no chance that we're ever going to give him any game time. Same with this right back. I mean, there's no way, we just waste our time with that guy when we already have players on the youth team who are faster. Here is Georg Aleth, who has some speed, which looks pretty good. He's a little bit inconsistent, and this is the question. So do we do something with him or not? I'm going to make the note here, and I think what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sign him because I like that speed, and I think that he might have a little bit of potential. So, I mean, we can go take a look. Maybe I'll be wrong in the long run. Maybe I'll be right. Ljubko Hristov doesn't have any real big red flags other than being extremely slow for a defensive midfielder. He'd be beaten in the midfield all day long. Stefan Aras also looks slow and he's inconsistent. We won't worry about him. And finally, Denis Novak, who is injury prone, inconsistent, but does have some speed. And so this is another one where I think we probably will go ahead and sign him anyway, just to sort of see what happens with him. Now, a couple of things I do want to mention that I've kind of pointed to in the past. When you're looking for how fast you want these players to be, you are looking for something like what Novak has. You want about 15 acceleration, 15 pace. Even a little bit underneath that is fine, but you don't want guys who are below 10, definitely not. You figure that with development, I mean, even if this is his true PA, and we don't know that for sure right now, there's still a big fog of war going on. Even if this is his real PA, maybe we can get like a point or two out of each of these, which is not too bad if he's going to play at AML, right? And again, with that speed, I know that even if he's inconsistent, when he's on, he'll be able to do something well. If he didn't have this kind of speed, if he's like one of these other guys who's really slow, then even when we get the best performance out of him, he's not going to play well in the match engine. I say that because you want to have guys who are quick and fast, even if you're not going to play them on the first team. We almost certainly never will in Novak's case. You want them to be able to do well so that the AI, the computer manager, will be incentivized to go sign him. Because that's the whole idea, right? If we're not going to play the player, but he's on our roster, we want to send him out on loan and then eventually sell him and make a whole bunch of money from him. So that's what the idea is there. And when it comes to Edenhout, we're probably just going to go ahead and sign him. He's never going to be quite fast enough with that 10 for pace. He's not going to be fast enough, and the inconsistency doesn't help. But what we'll do is we will sign him and we'll send him out on loan basically right away instead of having him play on the first team. He wants a lot of money. And let's see if we can talk him down a little bit from that. That's a lot for a 15-year-old. Maybe we can get him for $2,000. I don't know. Yeah, he definitely wants that much. We'll try to talk him down a little bit here. Yeah, we got him a little bit lower. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, it is a risk that we run because we'll try to loan him out, but we have to hope that somebody will actually pay for him. Hopefully he has, some sort of value in game. There are ways you can figure that out, by the way. If you look up information and see, does he have a biography? It does not. Look up different things like that. Now, the other thing you're probably wondering is, what do we do when the guy's not a great player, right? Or when we don't have any good players? We have some players here who I thought were all right, but not all of them are great. In that case, what you really need to do is you need to go out and find new players, as in you need to go raid the youth intake of other teams, which is something that you can still do in Football Manager and is something that I very, very strongly recommend doing. So once you get your youth intake, it's about time that everybody else is having them. Go through and have your scouts look at players who are like 15 to 17 on all the teams you can find. Look for the fast ones and individually scout them and just see what you come up with, right? That's the best thing to do. You want to go through and look at as many players as you can so that you can sign them when they're cheap, bring them on, and have them part of your team. There you go. That's basically what the strategy is, and then you can make up your own youth intake from the best of the rest. Talk to you later. Bye.